can now begin the show right here. This is the OK Morning Rush, and I'm sure it's being relayed on Sky FM. My colleague Matthias is here together. We would do it with the Minister of Public Works, Roland Lafayette Giddings. Matthias, good morning. This time, not for his hour.
Good morning, Piso. And it's a great thing to share platform with you this morning, was especially sitting on your platform. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
And it's an honor, being with the great Clarence Jackson.
Oh, come on. I feel so good being with Matthias. Feel so good being with you. I like you, man.
Right.
I like the Forest Hour show. You bring
you.
to bear a lot of things. Who's the lady that I've been hearing in recent time with you on the show?
Oh, Joy. Joy
She's-
Mademo came from the print media. She used to be with newspaper.
She's good.
Yeah.
She's good. I follow her. She's the hit the nail on the head kind of person.
Absolutely, yeah.
I like her. I like the work she do. Mr. Minister, good morning. Long time, but it's good to see you this morning. How are you?
Morning, Clarence. I'm okay. Yes, it's been a while. Of course, being taxed with the heavy responsibility that I have as the Minister of Public Works. And so I'm carrying a very big burden, and I'm aware of that.
Oh, you know that?
Yes. And so I have been, of course, working myself together with the team that we have at the Ministry of Public Works to get to where we are today. But there's more to happen. I'm good in health. The family is okay. Thank God we're here.
Well, I like that. Good in health. More to happy. I like the fact that you recognize the very important role you have to play in our country's development. I thought at some point you knew, but it wasn't on your mind that you're saying it means you know. How is the ministry, by the way?
The Ministry of Public Works is very well. Let me just say that. Very well. I think you can look around the country and see the level of work that we are doing. It can only be done by a ministry that's well. My team, everybody at the Ministry of Public Works, very inspired, motivated to achieve what they are achieving. In fact, when we sit in our meetings and they just express what they see on the social media and what the public is saying about us, and we jokingly say we can't drop the ball. We have to keep pushing. And I'm sure everybody at the Ministry of Public Works now, from the janitor to the drivers to the cleaners, to just everybody, the engineers, the rural maintenance crew, rural marker crew, the rural engineers, the water people, water and sanitation people in the counties and everywhere, the project engineers, the consultants we work with, everybody motivated with what we are doing, because I believe and we all know that one of our biggest responsibility as a country is to address the economic issues. And the binding constraint has shown that our deficit in infrastructure, especially the roads and energy. Of course, you can talk about airport and seaports, which are very key also to that, and telecommunication, ICT, and all of that. But just road and energy, open up the country. And I'm very happy that we have a very good friend and brother. We grew up in government together, I would say, as the managing director at LEC, very innovative, very tax working. He's a great guy. And just in a short time, I think you can see the changes, and I can vouch here for him that there will be more changes to come in the energy sector in terms of energy. And so we know that two of us have the biggest tax, because the binding constraint on the economy, why the economy cannot grow, is because of the lack of rural and energy. 13,000 kilometers, not more than 2,000 paved. A country with an energy sector that has not more than 200 megawatt, it tells you that we have to do a lot after 177 years. So we take our job very seriously. And I say to people that, there will be many other public works ministers, but there won't be many Liberians to be minister of public works. Those of us who have the opportunity to serve, and I see it that way, we should know that we have a responsibility to our people. So I take my job very seriously, I tell you. The contractors are aware. I threaten them, let me say it that way publicly. I'm ready to cancel contracts when it need be. The contractors know that they must say we don't play, we work. And this is why we are achieving what we are achieving.
There's something I just want to find out quickly. You recognize the responsibility you have as Minister of Public Works, your tax is huge. You just said that to Clarence. And at the same time, you mentioned that when you and your team sometimes sit at the office, your members sort of comment on some of the things that people see on social media about the ministry. What are the things they're saying? Are they saying some positive things or negative things that you're doing well, you're not doing well? You know, how are you drawing motivation from the things they're saying about you?
Well, I think both. There's recognition of the level of work that we've done. There are also those who will also criticize. And for me, I'm not a person who think that I shouldn't be criticized. I think when you get criticized, sometimes, of course, it may be, to get at you, but it helps to strengthen you and make you stronger and look into the criticism and say, look, I think what this person suggested makes sense. How can I do it faster, for example? How can we get things done? I know we make some commitment to do this road, to do this community, for example, or to engage this road to make sure the road remains pliable. How fast are we doing it? And maybe people are concerned about that. And that is why last week we had something you call the deep dive with the Ministry of Finance. Because people do not understand. Sometimes the contractors will complete and need to get their pay, but then we don't pay them. The pay go through the road fund, to the Ministry of Finance. So there's the process, the system also that becomes an issue as to how soon contractors get paid to be able to work within time in terms of the season. So the Minister of Finance and I, who had a spring meeting, we had a good conversation about that, and he just popped this out. And I said, let's give it a try. He called the deep dive into the system across government.
What is it?
It means to sit down with each of the ministry and agencies, especially those of us who got big projects,
right,
funded by partners, funded by the budget, and see what the bottlenecks are. I came from the President Delivery Unit. That is what I did, like monitoring and evaluating projects to make sure the project's on course, meeting targets, meeting milestone, meeting timeline. So we've done that. He done that with us, I think, agriculture and lands and mines. And he's doing it with all of the ministry agencies because the Ministry of Finance is center to everything that we do in terms of funding the programs. And so we realize that the system has to work well. Okay, for example, in public works, we have to have timeline as to when we process a particular document. And I force with my people, no document sitting in anybody's office. If there's a reason why the document is not correct, send it back to where it originates. The system works, then it helps. So if we should take 1 week to process a document in public works, we could take 2 days. And that goes to the road fund, for example. The road fund take 1 week, and when the road fund could take 3 days. And then it goes to finance ministry. For it to take 4 days or 5 days of finance, then it takes almost 1 month.
So there are bureaucratic bottlenecks being observed.
So what we've been trying to do is to clean up the system. And I think that deep dive conversation with the different sector ministry and agencies is really going to help to enhance and increase operational efficiency in government.
Okay, Minister. Now, every day in this country where we sit, we talk about roads. Most of the time in Liberia, we talk road every day. And most of these roads are even older than some of us, or most of us. And I want you to take some time to really tell us exactly what is the length of major roads in this country that will connect the different capital cities to Monrovia, and how many kilometers of that is ready, have been paved, and just talk to us. Give us a picture of the whole road being in Liberia.
Okay, so I would try to do that
Please.
with what I can remember.
Yeah.
So again, it was President Salif who thought that it made sense to begin to look at, reconnecting our county capitals. And I know the Unity Party-led government started that project after the elections in 2006. And I think the first connection that was done was to connect Monrovia to Buchanan on actual paved road properly. Because I know it could take 5 to 6 hours to go to Buchanan right after the war or during the war. You never had anything like it. It was there, but pop holes everywhere, and it took you double the time. Instead of 3 hours or 2 hours, 30 minutes, it could take you 5 to 6 hours to go to Buchanan. So we launched that project, supported by the World Bank, of course. That took us from, of course, we did the Monrovia City streets, rehabilitated them.
Right.
And then from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, all the way, right in front of City Hall, there used to be the bum, almost like,
right,
with pop holes everywhere. So from the Foreign Affairs to EAW Junction, that was done. And then from EAW Junction to of course, to the RIA, maintaining the scene, of course, wasteland that you had at the time, and up to Buchanan. And that took about 45 kilometers and 80 from Cotton Tree, a little over 125 kilometers. Then the conversation would be, okay, what do we do to enter into central Liberia? Going to Ganta would take 6-7 hours. So we launched the project, of course.
6-7 hours when the road is not paved?
When the road was not paved back
Okay.
then, when the road was terrible. From Relay to Ganta, it would take you 6-7 hours. Then we launched what you call Liberam, okay, which was the Liberia Rural Assets Management Project, rural project, Liberam. In fact, that project should be closing now by next month, June. That was launched in 2012. And we started that project, initiated that. From Monrovia to Banga, from Banga to Ganta, from Monrovia to Banga for 163.5 kilometers so, and then from Ganta to for Banga to Ganta took us up to something kilometers, so it should be a 236 kilometers somewhere around there total. So that road was paved, of course, up to the Guinea border, which you all know, we all drive on it now, we forgot that. Right now we are even at Midland stage. The certain section has to be overlaid. We have some defect in terms of our responsibility to pay. Counterpart funding, of course, we're working with the contractors, two contractors, Seco and Chico, with the Ministry of Finance to see how we can manage that. But there are certain sections we have to overlay now because it's like any up to the maintenance stage. So when that happened, then we did what you call the growth constraint analysis, and that came out of the MCC support that we should have gotten, the 257 million that we got to look at investing in the economy. And it suggested, of course, roads and energy. So we established what you call the growth corridors. The corridors that can enhance economic growth. And one of the corridors, of course, was from the rail light to the Guinea border, which was done. Then we decided now to look at Banga to Vonjima, because, of course, that corridor is the agricultural belt up to Minikoma Foya. How can we get involved in the rehabilitation or reconstruction of these roads, making it asphalted? So that was one of the corridors. Then we also identified that corridor for Banga to Sade. Then the Minister of Finance at the time was the one who led again a team to Kuwait. The Kuwaiti agreed to fund the feasibility studies, which they did. Then we sat with them, and then they decided that they'll put together other Arab consortium. So they brought in OFIC, they brought in the Saudis, they brought in Badia, the Arab Bank for Economic Development. They brought them in. So 4 funders, and Abu Dhabi was the 5th one. But they fell up a little bit because we did not meet up with certain things. But they stayed online to participate. So they came in and funded the Banga to Salai project. We ground broke for that project in 2017, just about. When election came, I know there was a controversial issue with President. We have been at the ground break.
Right.
You know that. So we ground broke, and the funding was already, of course, secure for the project to go into that growth corridor. And we left, and that project got started when the last government took over. And the government is continuity. So the funding was available. They started the project. Of course, that project should have ended.
During the period of 6 years?
Yes, that project should have ended within 6 years, yes. And in fact, not just in the 6 years, it should have even gone further, up to Konya, like what we're trying to do now. But one of the things that happened, there was a loan that was taken by to fund the National Port Authority, some investment in Sindo on the same Kuwaiti's funding. That loan was not properly handled in terms of repayment. In fact, tugboats were brought into the country, it was at the Sando port, but right now, over the last 6 years, there's no tugboat anywhere there. The investment that was made cannot be seen. We had to pay that money back. So the government started to default on that payment when the last one were in the power. And so the Kuwaitis shut down
The road project?
their payment. They shut down the disbursement on the road project because they said it impacts the other one. You know, we gave you a loan for this, you don't pay on this one, it will impact the other project that we're paying for. So they withdrew.
Minister, I hope you really understood my
So-
question.
Yes, I'm coming. So I'm talking about the corridors now.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
talking about the corridors.
Okay.
I'm talking about the corridors. And so that was the 81 kilometer up to Salaye. The balance, 115 kilometer from Salaye to Vonjima. That was left to be dealt with after we handled the first 81 kilometer. So now that 81 kilometer is going to be completed very soon. There's about 14 kilometer. And we went to Kuwait. The Kuwaitis agreed together with the other funders now to fund up to Vonjima, which would be 81 plus 115 kilometers. So that tells you the whole corridor will be covered. Also from Vonjuma,
1 minute, Minister. Except that I want to also take our time. Since we have 2 hours, there will be time for us to talk to you, Mataya and myself, so we delve into the different roles and where we are. But my question was from the background that, look, you got engineers at the Ministry of Public Works. In fact, you worked there before as a deputy minister. I'm saying, in Liberia, what's the total kilometer of roads that when we pave will connect the different county capitals, and how many kilometers of that have we paved? That was my question.
okay, so but that's what I was saying to you.
Yeah.
From Monrovia to Ganta is about 263, just about 263 kilometers that have been paved already. Okay, from Red Light and
But what's the total?
yes, but that's why they're up to
The
Giddings.
one have been paved, right?
Yes, no, this I'm just putting the connection to that.
Okay.
Okay, just putting the connection to that. Then from Iodebia Junction up there to Buchanan is about 125 kilometers. You got a 45 or 85, 125 kilometers. I won't be able to pick up all like in my
All the
head.
numbers.
I've been bit and pieces, so you have that. That's been paved. Now we of course they roll from Monrovia up to not Buchanan but Bummy. It's not paved. It's we in the process now of doing something of such. That have not been paved. Now we have not been able to connect up to Zurju yet, okay? But from Harper to Plebo up to Fishtown, that's 130 kilometers that have been paved. So that means you connected Harper to Fishtown already with 130 kilometers. But now we have not connected Fishtown to Zurju. So just Zurju is in the middle. Sino is not connected yet. Bapulu is not connected yet. So if you eye these in terms of connecting county capital in recent, we are talking about anywhere around 500 plus kilometers. If you 500 and if you about 500 is a 05, it's about 500 something kilometers.
Okay.
Connecting to capitals.
To capitals
That's
across
why I
the
want to
country.
break it. Yes, but however, we are also now connecting to add up from Ganta to Zreju, which is 225 kilometers, is being connected now, and I can safely say this will be connected before we leave.
Okay,
By
Minister.
2029,
We will
2030,
be practical with
connected.
you on most of the roads so that you really give us a picture to clear doubts.
And
Now,
that's what I want to do.
the other thing is, what is the real difference between the National Road Fund and the Ministry of Public Works in terms of identifying roads for rehabilitation?
So the National Road Fund is like the financing arm of the Ministry of Public Works. You know, I was at the ministry when we started the process of setting up what you call the Road Authority, which is something we are still looking to do. And the pilot project was like, let's set up the fund first. So the fund manages what is collected. There's several collection sources in the law. So the fund collects that and, of course, disburse on contracts that we get into with contractors. So the fund is like the financing arm of the Ministry of Public Works. However, the fund and the Ministry of Public Works work together and develop something you call the Annual Road Maintenance Plan, which is the AMF, to identify the roads that we invest in every year. So we work with the road fund to do that, and that plan is approved by the board, which I chair for now.
Okay.
And the Minister of Finance is a part, Commerce is a part of the board, Transport is a part of the board, Internal Affairs is a part of the board. So we approve that plan, and it's with that plan that Ministry of Public Works work now, funded by the road fund. So as we contract a company and the project is completed in terms of payment, we process that and we send it to the road fund. They review it, make sure all of the attachment and what was supposed to be done has been done. Then they go ahead and process payment, send it to the Ministry of Finance.
Finance pays.
Yes. So they pay. Finance just approved. The minister
Okay.
just gave a release because the money
The
is
road fund pay.
resident with the road fund. So that's what the road fund is the financial arm now of supporting road construction. And
So
rehabilitation.
the recommendation or suggestion for rehabilitation of roads is squarely the responsibility of public works.
Exactly.
But does the road fund, the institution, does it get involved in terms of getting contractors for a particular road project? Say,
No,
it doesn't.
The road fund has no business with
Okay.
that.
Now,
Yeah.
before Matthias will come in, before we go to these different roles, Minister, you see, when you appear like this, it's an opportunity for all of us in the country to know the truth, nothing else but the truth, get rid of rumors, and we say, Minister Giddings said this. Now, as the Minister of Public Works, can you clearly clear our doubts this morning to talk about road contracts, the big road contracts, Bangladesh, the Tabata, this. When were these contracts signed? When were these contracts signed? Were they rectified? Oh wow! When were these big contracts?
So I started with of course, I completed the first two
Yep.
big corridors.
Yeah.
Of course, ERW Junction to Buchanan.
Buchanan.
We know when that was done. That was done within the last Unity Party-led government period. Also from Rail Light to Guinea border, that was completed during the Unity Party-led period.
Absolutely.
But the Unity Party-led government also initiated certain projects.
Okay.
And I would say that the Banga to Salaye project, the Banga to Salaye project is one of the projects. Banga Salaye Konya Minikoma
Okay.
is a project that we initiated. And of course, like we said, ground was broken 2017. So we're ready to start the project with the Chico hire. So that was done already by our government. Then from Ganta to Zueju, we set up the project called SICRAM. Okay, it's the Southeastern Corridor Road Access Management Project. Okay, we set that up. And we set that up with the World Bank at the time, before we left from the Ministry of Public Works. The World Bank has agreed to fund the project to provide guarantee, because we're doing a PPP. So that means there were private companies coming in to participate, bring the money, build the road, and then we pay them. Since we're setting up the road fund was supposed to be used as a guarantee to pay. But what the company suggested in the whole arrangement, PPP arrangement for them to be certified with what they were doing, was that they wanted the guarantee. So the World Bank provided a guarantee. So we'll provide that guarantee. If the road fund is unable to make the money available at the time, say for example, we pay you 15 million every year or 20 million every year. If the road fund falls short to provide the full 20 million, what we do, we front load that. And then the road fund will provide that later on. But we'll provide a guarantee. So that's how that project was, and that's why it's called SICRAM. We developed it. From the last government, the Uniparty-led government.
I mean, from
Ganta to Zweju.
To Zweju.
It's called, it was called SICRAM.
Did you sign it? Was it your government that signed the contract?
So no, we did. Now let me say what happened. So there was not a contract signed before we left. A contract was not signed for the corridor. No, I won't sit here and say a contract was signed. It was not signed.
You initiated.
But the project was developed, and I tell you, there are a lot of energy that's put into project development, because to even go through the process where you get the board of the World Bank and the different layers to approve the project, it takes a lot to do that. In fact, that's where the heavy lift is. Until you get into procurement process, like execution. Of course, you got to provide guidance for execution. So that was done. But when we left, when the last and one of the foundation was that the road fund should be managed properly, because the road fund was serving as a guarantee for the project. But when this government, when the last government took over, the first thing the last government did was to start to mismanage the road fund. Now, I don't want to be political here, but this is what the fact is. The first government took about close to $7 million for the road fund and used it on other expenditure. The partners started to feel a little uncomfortable with that and said, look, we can, if you start to do this, then it's like this road fund that should be used for guarantee. We can't trust that, because the road fund money collected should be for road maintenance and road rehabilitation, nothing else. So that created a problem for the project.
Right.
But so what the bank did was that they broke it up. Instead of reaching up to Zweju, they broke it up to start to Tapeta. And they broke it into two lots, 39 kilometers and then 61 kilometers to Tapeta. It was supposed to reach Zweju. That's why it was designed for, reaching Zweju. So when they broke that up, then they said, well, okay, with this, we'll fund the second lot, which is Saklipi to Tapeta, with some counterpart funding from the government, and the government will be wholly and solely responsible to pay for the first lot from Ganta to Saklipi. I think they were just putting some burden on the government at the time to say, well, whatever you do now, you have to be able to fund this project. So the project was reordered. And of course, they went into procurement process to get the second lot. The funding was finalized and ratified. And then the government went into procurement and got SECO to start the first lot, the first 39 kilometer. That is the last government. The
From
citizen
where
government,
to where?
From Ganta to Saclay.
Okay.
And then the second lot from Saclay to Tapeta. Then that was finalized. So in terms of procurement of the contractor and to start the project, it was done by the last government. They started that. But I'm just saying,
They signed a.
yeah, they signed the contracts.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying was that the contract was reordered because of the way they did the road fund, because it should have gone up to Zreju. But however, then it was changed. Tapeta to Zreju now was turned into a new project we call RETRAP, Rural Economic Transformation Project. It was agriculture money funding they were using now to pave the road from Tapeta to Zreju,
Okay, fine.
which is the
Yeah,
two
so
lines.
we just wanted to-
Clarence,
yeah,
just to
okay.
do a follow-up to Clarence's question, is that, Minister, from your explanation, are you saying that most of the road projects that were even implemented by the CDC administration were initiated by the United Party last 12 years?
Yes, so I would say the Banga to Salai, yes. Even the Saclay PA to the Sanikude to Saclay PA, to Lokato, we initiated that project. If I would got a grant of 50 million, half of the grant, 50% of the grant is EU money from the
Sanikude
EU.
to Lokato.
Yes, the EU.
Minister, I just want us to be a little bit careful. What's the
and European
difference
Investment
between you say initiated and signed? Because
No, when I say-
I can initiate a discussion with
initiate, when I say-
one minister. I can initiate a discussion with you to build my studio, to build my radio station, but we started discussing and your time elapsed, and then Matthias came in. It was doing his time that we continue and signed.
Okay, it's beyond. So it's beyond just initiate and develop. I said to you, to develop a full project document to get to the point where even
We understand.
the bank has approved the funding, because the bank has to approve the funding. It has to be in the funding to be approved. When it's approved, it goes to the board for approval. Then before you start with procurement process. So I'm saying to you that project, Sanikude to Lokato, we initiated it, project document was developed, we secured the funding. There was from the EU, from the African Development Bank, there was commitment funding secured. When we're leaving government, they were in the procurement process. It was the CDC government that initiated the procurement process and got the contractor to start the project.
Okay.
My thing, I don't even want to spend too much time on it, because I see, people, you started one, you did it one. Look, whatever project I know, because the Unity Party led government, the party that started the new library, we say. And so that can tell you that there was several conversations along the way for most of the project. So this is how this is years.
Okay, it's good we move on.
We
but,
got to
but,
the
but
point
it's
now
good,
where,
it's good.
where executing the project is what we're doing. And I'm telling you now, because we, and this government in terms of paving, that's why I say within the southeast, the CDC government paved not more than 20 kilometers. Because the only road that they paved was from Kanwe came to Kelibu. That project that was done today. It's 20 kilometers. Okay. But we have paved from Harper up to Fish
We coming there. We come
so,
there.
So we have that conversation.
You give us a picture.
So let them leave that, because if the argument come, and when I was in the opposition, when the government said they have paid 500 plus kilometers, I provided facts. I presented facts, data, and nobody disproved it. We don't spend our time on this, because if there's an argument between the Unity Party led government and CDC in terms of rural investment, they can match what we did.
Well, anyway, when our time comes, we'll talk about.
Let's focus on
you as the master
what we are
of,
doing.
you are the headmaster of the rules.
Yeah, please.
Sometimes when you come on this kind of public platform, we throw it out to
Yeah,
you,
sure.
so you provide the information.
Yeah.
Now let's move on. Another big role that Rubber Sport, Medina to Rubber Sport Road. How far is that road project now, and why is it your government's making?
So again, Rubber Sport to Medina had always been a conversation.
Okay.
When we took over, we met a contract that was flap, I would say. It was so we almost got to the point where we thought that we shouldn't proceed with this contract for the way it was done, because there was removement from a particular contract into one contract. We had to reorder the entirety.
What does that mean?
And send it to PPCC. There were lots. Okay, that project they were doing the Matali project. There was a project done in Matali. There was a portion from there that was moved to Medina. It was done like that. Lots move around. So we had the engineers to sit down and go over the contract. We have a legal put to look at it. I even send it back to PPCC for PPCC to review it and approve the section, because there was some payment done and initially there was work done. So the project started, okay, by the last government, but it didn't go anywhere in terms of making real progress because of the way the contract was done. So we had to reorder it and send it back to PPCC for rescoping.
Where is it now?
It's on now. Okay,
It's on now.
it's the first 15 kilometers, because it's about 45 altogether. So we're doing the first
From that
pavement.
junction straight to Ravensburg.
Yes, the first pavement will be 15 kilometers. It's done by SSF. Right now, that project is on and it's happening.
Pavement meaning quota?
Quota. Let me say that.
Please say it,
asphalt.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. But that's happening now.
Okay.
Minister, let me quickly get in with, because I know when you took over the ministry, you met challenges. Obviously, you
Yes.
outlined a number of them. I think. How are you engaging things differently that's making the contractors to work overnight? I'm observing the situation from Viatown to St. Paul Bridge, the road project. I'm seeing demolition exercise taking place. And some of the things that people say in the public are, well, I think the current dispensation of the folks at the Ministry of Public Works, must be kind of proactive people. These concerns are raised, commendation in many public quarters and things. How are you approaching the work differently that's giving you the kind of result that you're getting now?
So one of the things that I know first that I'm committed to overall with my service in government over the years. As a young man coming up, grew up in government, had the opportunity to serve as deputy minister and now minister, is that I'm committed to see this country get better. I believe we are way behind, we are lacking behind. A country that has 13,000 kilometers, you have now more than 2,000 paved after 177 years. That should tell you there is a story to change. I believe we need to do more in terms of what we are doing, especially if you look at us within the sub-region or within the West African region, for example, compared to our colleagues, we are lacking behind. I believe we need to do more. And as a public official, I think I don't see my job much of a political job. I see it like service to country. And so I take it very seriously. So the first thing is you must bring that leadership to your office. The contractor and the people you work with must begin to respect you. Secondly, it shouldn't be about what you think you're going to get out of the job that you have. Of course, you get paid, you get some other benefit, but it's not personal. I don't take it personal. I take my job seriously. I tell the contractors, especially the Liberian contractors, I say to them, you are a Liberian contractor. You're in this sector. You're helping to build your country. You should be committed to that. It is business though, but you also have a responsibility to your country. So take your job seriously. And the contractors know me. I'm ready to cancel a contract right away. Contractors and myself do not sit down.
Have you done that before?
Yes, I canceled contracts before, yes.
Okay.
Contractors and myself do not sit down and cut deals. I'm saying it
What does that mean?
So there's a contract, you say, oh, in the contract, yeah, let's do the one they want. It's out for me, you do the one, give me the one. No, we don't cut deals. I don't do that with contractors. And I tell my people at the Ministry of Public Works, you shouldn't do that. It is not what we are here for. We're here to work. Because if you do that, you undermine your supervision. You undermine your authority. The moment you begin to do that, the contractors don't take you serious.
You seem to be providing a level playing field for them, as you mentioned,
Yes.
but you also mentioned earlier to Clarence that you threaten them. So
Yeah,
are
when I
you
say
getting the
threaten,
result back?
yes, of
Threatening
course.
people?
That's what happened, because you know why? The contractor themselves, I'm sorry for them, because sometimes you got people who will sit in those positions and demand so much from them. The contractor has his way. He has overhead, he has costs, he has so much to do. He has people to pay. He has to pay taxes sometimes. Government delay paying them. And then you sit in that chair because you're the minister and demanding so much from them. And telling them, a contractor have a project for $1 million. To do that project, he has to get profit. He has overhead, he has taxes to pay, everything. You sit there because you're a minister and tell him, this contract here, give me 150,000 or 200,000 from there. In fact, go bring it now before you start doing your work. It happened in this country. It happened everywhere.
How does that hamper the work?
Of
the
course
minister
it
has
does.
he still
No,
has
it
the
does.
contract anyway.
Because you know why? The contractor has no option but to agree. But he turns it back and go to work and cut corners and don't deliver. And you go there as minister and you're making noise and you're talking about it, you just laugh and look at you and say, look at this joker. You allow me to almost demand me to give you X money from my contract when I shouldn't give it to you for no reason. and now you're demanding me to give quality. It's not going to happen. And if that contractor is unable to perform, you got to be there pacifying him.
What are some of
Because
the,
you know
what are some of the things that would prompt you
thing is-
to cancel a contract
Oh yeah,
with
if,
a contractor?
if you are paid the money to do your work, you don't get to the site to do your work. The work does not have the quality required and it's established. And I said to the contractors, when we terminate a contract with you, as long as the Minister of Public Works now, you don't work with us, you work somewhere else.
But minister,
For bad service.
but minister.
So my point is,
But there was a time when you took some vehicles from a particular contractor. Were the vehicles in the contract?
No. The thing is, this is look, and I think have been a conversation spoken about.
Yeah, but yeah,
When we did
I'm
the
bringing it
100
back
days,
because
yes,
you're talking about.
when we did the 100 days, we got to the ministry, all the vehicles, we hadn't met any vehicle there. In fact, we got in the 100-day project. We're about to do the project, which was an emergency, and of course, that intervention helped. When we did the contract was done already, consummated. I started with my engineers. So how do we do supervision for the project? So we went back, we called a meeting with the contractor and said, look, can you voluntarily assist the ministry with a vehicle?
Obviously, they will not
It
say
does not
no.
have- no, yeah, I come in.
Even if
Yeah,
you use
yeah,
the word,
it seems
even
like
if you use
coercion.
the word voluntary, they will not say
I
no.
come in. And no, but listen to this now.
Yeah.
If you can, do it. If you can, you should not. And today, not all the contractors did it. Nobody, somebody still work for us. Nobody chest out and nobody put them on any scrutiny for not.
But why did you go back to the contractors?
The reason
Couldn't
is-
you
No,
solve the situation in a different way?
The reason is because we did not have the money at the time, and we needed to provide supervision. Those vehicles were brought to the ministry. I've gone to people spoke about it even there. I took the vehicles, turned it over to the GSC. I mean, not the GSC, the GSA. The GSA coded those vehicles. Today, our project engineers are using it to help supervise the project.
Okay, we just.
So,
I
but
just wanna-
how is that?
So
quickly?
my thing is,
Yeah.
it was like the contractors agreed to donate that to the university. I mean, to the ministry, and it was not for any person.
on your request.
But yes, we met as ministers in our ministers meeting, and we said we should engage the contractor and see if they could voluntarily do so.
They had no
And like
option.
I said, but listen now, all the
The
contractors.
minister of public
No, but listen,
of the country asked you for
Ask you
but
yeah,
listen,
for-
but
You're
listen,
supposed to have a
but
contract.
listen,
What do you
but
do?
listen, what's about the ones that did not give it, and today they are still working for the ministry? They've not been chastised. Nothing happened to them for no reason. It was voluntary, and I ordered them give the vehicle.
So how is it different from giving a contractor, say Clarence owns a construction company, he won a bid, this contract is $1 million, and how is you requesting the contractors to voluntarily donate vehicles to the ministry, and you asking the contractor give me $100,000 from your contract?
But that's the point I'm making. That's for personal gain. If you do that, then you're doing it for personal gain. What we asked for was to support the ministry's work, and those vehicles were turned over to the ministry, given to GSA, coded. They are in the ministry assets, as government assets. and been used.
They're not Minister Giddings.
No, they've been used by.
Okay, Mr.
But the
Minister
point I'm making to
Giddings.
you, the point I'm making to you is that when you do that, then it is for personal gain,
Okay.
and that's why I encourage my ministers and everybody not to do. And no contractor will tell you, Minister Giddings, can sit down with me and negotiate contract. A contract.
Now,
cost-
can you give us an example,
we don't do
Clarence,
that.
of a
Because you know
contractor?
what? Let me
that
tell you something. Let me tell you
Right.
something. And I like to be fair with the real thing that happen in the sector. When you do that, you undermine the authority you have to do the work you're supposed to do. You can't supervise properly. You can't do this thing that you're supposed to do. The contractors understand what we are doing now. And like I said, the motivation for them to work and the way they're working, go on those corridors now that we're telling you about the 100-day corridor. Go see the level of work that's been done there. I've threatened termination for several contractors. Chico almost got terminated on the Salaye to Vonjima corridor. Chico is a Chinese company. They were very lucky. I gave them ultimatum to get the work to certain level. Otherwise, the contract will be terminated.
And they
they
doubled up.
got to it. They got to it. That's what I do. The point I'm making is, when you do that, you're able to, because the contractors feel comfortable now that they're not under any pressure. Nobody pressurizing them for anything they have to. Then they're obligated to deliver under the contract. And that is why I would say to you, that is why the performance you see today is a key part of why the Ministry of Public Works is performing.
Now,
it's now a perfect system.
thank you, Minister
but it's
Giddings.
a key reason why the Ministry of
We
Public
gotta
Works
move on.
is performing.
Okay.
The Ministry is performing.
Minister Roland Giddings is here. Freedom Prime Sky FM are relaying this interview. Now, how are determination for road rehabilitations done? For example, while it's true that I have no particular preference for any community, most of the avenues in Sinkos have got some issues, but the ministry jumped to Matali, and everywhere there is almost paved. How are determinations for rural rehabilitations done? What inform you?
But Matali has been like that for many years.
Okay.
Many years. Now, somebody will even talk. I was talking to my engineers to go to look at, for example, Bannerville Estate. If you go into Bannerville Estate now, you had a guy road there to go in there and see, because since the road was paved when that estate was built, nothing much was done inside the estate. Matali was like that for many years. We do that also based on, of course, the population, economic activities, and of course, to provide social services. Again, because we have scarcity in terms of the resources. So, of course, we will not be able to do everything at a time. Now we are doing community roads, intervening to make it pliable. We are not able to do all the communities roads. We are selective, and we are selective also based on population density. Look at the activities. If that particular community road is connecting to another major community, we select that. But technically, there is a program that we have was funded by the Germans. There is a system that is used and is able to determine, okay, the road based on these different statistics in terms of economic activity, in terms of population density, and of course where you got schools, hospital, and all of that. But again, whatever the situation is, there's scarcity in resources. So at a certain point in time, we make the determination.
So you consider
There can
population
also be, exactly, but there can also be a reason why, for example, the government will say, you know what, we need to intervene in this road because of this particular reason. And some of the reason could also be because of all of those things that I spoke about, and we bring that on board to be able to intervene. But we have a budget that's not big enough. So we are very strategic in our intervention. So yes, we're in Matadi today. We'll be in other places next budget year. Gradually along the way, we'll be able to impact.
So you have special number of roads that you're supposed to rehabilitate in Mora this current budget.
Yes, like the rehabilitation now on the road fronting, we do 40% for rehabilitation, 60% for maintenance. Okay. So we maintain roads at that level, and we also rehabilitate for both community and some of the major roads that we're doing. So if you look around now, we're doing some new roads in different community, and we've agreed also to do rigid pavement. Rigid pavement is concrete in our community roads, because then it reduces the level of maintenance you need to do. So we are doing now the Chickasaw Factory Road. You go there, you see that we're connecting that to Johnsonville. We are doing the VOA Road. We're supposed to be doing the Jatonu Road. We'll be doing New Jersey Estate Road. There's several other roads that we'll be doing. We're in the procurement process now to be able to do that.
Currently, we're doing about the Kakata project.
Yes,
that road project. What is it? One of it?
Yeah, the Kakata Road project, of course. That project, we met that project signed already, but there was some issue with it that we had to fix. Okay. In terms of
why do you have all issues with all the projects that were signed by the previous administration? Is it that the guys were not
because of the review? Yeah, there's a contract we reviewed. There was some contract we reviewed. There was a contract now that was signed that I have looking at may not be able to implement, because sometimes we look at the unit costs for the contract. Some of the contracts were overblown. And I still have some contracts that were signed that we may not even execute.
Overblown by that?
Overpriced? Exactly, in terms of the cost. And we're looking at that because we're trying to set a standard about for what it costs per kilometer, for example. We anywhere around $850,000 to $1 million. If I see
a kilometer?
Yes, if I see a project now for $1.2 million, $1.3 million, for example, we got to think about that. If I see a bridge project like that, I bring the bridge engineer back to justify. In fact, we have very technical meeting where they have to justify why we should continue with this project. So that project, we had to reorder certain things in the project in terms of the scope, because the level of work that was claimed done by the contractor, we had to go back there. The
How many
claimed
streets
something,
are we talking
and we had to go back there. And it brought us down to, I think, 32% in terms of work actually complete. Go have to send a team there to reorder the project before we got it started.
Let me just take you back a bit.
How many
almost
streets?
3 kilometers. I don't know street, but it's about almost 3 kilometers. Yes.
Minister,
all together.
3 kilometers, you think will be left from here, EW Junction? I'm now
No, EW Junction is about 6. Up there is about 6, almost 6 kilometers.
From here to EW is 6 kilometers.
Almost, yeah. As well from, let me say, from Foreign Affairs, anywhere up there to Pacific.
Let me take you back a bit to what you were discussing with Clarence regarding some of the community roles, how you're engaging in terms of population. Minister, don't you think the ministry may be wrong by that approach? Because there's so many communities. The reason why you're not seeing the population like that is that most of the time the alleyways are not open. The zoning department is not engaging in terms of opening alleys, and so therefore people may find it difficult to just move in like that. So by this selection, that because this place is populated, let's go there and fix the community. Don't you think as a government you're disenfranchising
No,
other
don't
communities?
forget, we say priorities. When you're doing development, you do it like that. Population density is a key part to how you do your development. You can't tell me you want to go build, and I would tell you, you want to build a hospital for population, yeah, and especially you want to prioritize. Now you don't, like I said, you don't have all the money, and you say let's prioritize. Where will you put a 100-bed hospital in a population that 500, say for example, 250,000 people, then in a population that is 25,000 people? You put it in the 250,000 people because the need for healthcare is more there than 50,000 people. I'm just saying in priority. I'm not saying that the other communities will not be impacted. That's not what I'm saying here. But I say we have to prioritize. We'll go for population density. We'll also go for economic, activities.
No.
And that is why. So you see, like some of the cities. You think why we did from Monrovia to Kanta Guinea-Bodo? Of course, because that's a major economic corridor. That's why we did that. Okay, and that is why we are doing all the major growth, and we call them growth corridor because the analysis show that this is where economic growth will lie. So we need to invest in these particular corridor.
Okay, Minister. Now, when you, I remember there was most of the time you are with the Senate. Sometimes you go there, like a minute.
Yeah.
You previously informed the Liberian Senate of plans to rehabilitate a particular bridge in Bapolo County called the Bambuta. I hope I'm correct. The Bambuta Bridge on the Bopolo Morovia Highway. What's the update of that bridge now? And the RTR Bridge too.
Yeah. So the Bambuta Bridge, the team will be looking to. We don't what we call a Dakota Bridge. There was a belly bridge that was on that bridge that we de-launch. That belly bridge will be brought to Bobota Bridge, to that what you're talking about, and to be launched there. The team now, what happened was that when they were de-launching that bridge at Dakota, most of the panel fell in the water. So the water level had to go down for the take of those panels that we need to bring down to Bogota. We already got that in place. So they will be going to bring the bridge from where we have the Dakota Bridge, that's been a new bridge being launched there, to now use it at Bogota. So yes, I'm hoping that can get done. It's already on the works. We already got the funding to be able to do it because our own engineers will be the one to go and do it. There's also another bridge there that's giving us some problem now. It's wood. We're doing next year because from Broadway to Bobolo we've done the road. But I think there were 4 bridges on that road that we're hoping that next year we change.
You mean in Bapolo?
Yes, to Bapolo.
Because even they
reinforce
handle Dokata to Bokomu Bridge.
Yes, we do that with reinforced concrete bridges. I mean, some of them will be box cover, 2-3 cells box cover. Some of them will be actual bridge along that corridor. So we got a lot of plain deck there on the corridor. In fact, the last time you heard that on the Bogota Bridge, we will set fire on it, just what was there. And that's where we're going to put that other bridge. So, yes, there's intervention on that. On the ITI Bridge, our team should be gone by now. But what we did, we had to go to River G to de-launch another bridge that was there. The corridor from Kilibo to Kanwike, we did a new bridge in that corridor by the African Development Bank. And there was a bridge on that corridor that we de-launched. We had to go for it because it's a 120 feet bridge, which can replace exactly the span
RTI
that broke.
bridge.
Yeah, the span that broke. The entire bridge did not got damaged. It's just a section, which is that section 120. But we got in River G. Our team spent almost 3 weeks there. There was severe politics about, you can get a bridge for River G. So I had to work with the senators, work with the representatives to resolve that. It took us almost 3 weeks before we got the bridge to be taken to ITI. So our team now should be on the way to de-launch the section that got damaged and replace that. But however, it's temporary. We're in the procurement process to get a whole new bridge, a long span of 450 feet, new bridge to de-launch this one that will put it on temporary.
Temporary.
Yes. So in the next, I would say 4 to 5 months, we get a
brand new bridge.
Brand new bridge, like where you got Timor. Have you driven on the Timor Bridge? On that same corridor, the Timor Bridge? Yes. Like what we did with the Timor Bridge, there will be a new one to remove the entire one down there. Because that's one, the capacity is anywhere around 25 tonnage. So that means you cannot get, and that's a mistake that was made. The police at the time did not enforce what they should enforce. There was a a low bay with I think a nice city or an
Beyond
escalator on beyond, and that's why I booked that section.
I
But
think
now
you came
this
there and we
one,
spoke about that.
this one would be up to 80, 90 tons, which
Now-
can take almost any weight.
Still in Bapolo County, you broke grounds. I'm saying you. I think the Ministry of Public Works. You broke ground for one bridge construction that's supposed to link Bong to Bapolo through Bong Mines. Where is that project now? I mean, how far is it?
Yeah, that's the Bicolor Bridge.
Okay.
That project has started. It's also being reviewed and be revisited because the design earlier that was done, the engineers are suggesting to us that we have an issue with mining along. So where the abutment should have been, it can't be there anymore. It has to go further because there was serious mining taking place. Though they stopped them from mining, so now we have the abutment move away. If it were 5 center piers, we have to have more than 5 piers. Now I think it should be up to 7 piers. So which of course will affect the cost of the project. But we made that project in place.
You made it signed
Yes,
in place.
signed. But we of course did the first disbursement for them to start, and of course went ahead and
So
and did the
real
groundbreaking.
actual work has
Well,
started.
It started, yes, it started. I was there and work has started. We started building the abutment and the different piers. It's going to be an 850-meter bridge. That's very long. So we're really doing everything to make sure it's done properly. That will connect Bong to Bapolo.
Bapolo, yeah.
Which,
so is this other bridge a rumor, or is this something that's in your network? The St. John Bridge linking Bassa to Bong through Kokoya, the Botota region.
Well, it's not a romance, I would say. It's one of the things that's on our list for a team of engineers that I'm sending to go around the country to prepare for the next budget year. We want to be able to replace that bridge. I know it is spoken about that it has no proper deck, it has no rail. In fact, cars get up, people want to get down from the car to allow the car to take its time to cross it. And that's a very good connection. That means you can leave from Bong, you're in Grand Bassa. You can leave from Grand Bassa to Bong without coming through Monrovia. So we're going to send a team that should be going around the country to do certain things. Another one is to connect Bopolu to Lofa. That's something that the president is very passionate
Connect
about.
Bopolo to Lofa.
Yes, and that's something that. So the team of engineers will be going to do that kind of assessment to prepare us for next year. And of course, that corridor you spoke about is something that we're definitely going to consider. And the bridge will be something that will be factored into the whole program.
Minister Giddings, you're very, very, very well on top of the activities at the ministry. You're one minister that comes to the studio without a computer, in a notebook to say you have everything written down. I like the way you're flowing through the conversation because you're on top of your game. Recently, you signed a consultancy contract for the extension of the Japanese Freeway project. You care telling us a bit more about that?
Yes, so the Japan Freeway project, come from Rail Line stop to Freeport.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been extended now to Gabriel Tucker Bridge.
Okay.
So it's turn around the port and come to Gabriel Tucker Bridge. So what you see us doing that now is temporary intervention. I got beaten the last rainy season. I took over in, I would say March, got the 100 days started, and people expected me to play magic. The last government left cradles. They did no maintenance on our corridor. No maintenance from Freeport straight to from Gabriel Tucker Bridge.
You think people were really
Bridge.
beating you?
Oh yeah.
I thought they were. They were reminding you
no,
about the president's message when you were campaigning.
No, people were beating me. The reason why I said people were beating me was that you don't expect a government to take over in because I took over. I would say end of February. Okay, March. Budget is not passed yet, and then we get on that road and start to intervene in a short time with rainy season just on hand because such work you can do in the rain. You had to do
but
it
President
in the dry.
Bouaka should have considered that when he was campaigning. He said it. Nobody forced it.
But what?
So he said within the first 90 days or 100 days, no car will hitch in the mud.
But it been that mud.
So people were wholly responsible.
No, wait, they want that mud from Gabriel Tucker Bridge to St. Paul Peter. That mud, no mud down there.
No, but on the only road was beating
They were
beating because cars were still hitching.
No, specifically he asked about that, and that's why I'm speaking to that.
Oh, okay.
So we had to do a temporary intervention, which I know this. In fact, I think it's complete already. Now you can drive from Johnson Street up to, where you're going as far as Toyota Garage, and you know that you're not driving on a better road. We committed to do that, and we've done that in a short time. So The Japanese will be doing a whole new road, a 1.9 kilometer from Simple Bridge to connect to free, is to enhance the resilience during flood, during rain, especially with the issue of climate change now. There are also a component that work on solid waste and all that. So we work also with MCC and PCC on that project. But you see what we have like the Sony Way, there will be some drainage design like the Sony Way. For example, like Fish Market. You see Fish Market, there's the F drain. Those drains that are F drain will be turned into concrete drain, and not just that, in other places. So we're going to improve on the drainage system so that we enhance the kind of resilience required for flood, just in case you have flooding. And especially, like I said, with the issue of climate change now, weather change can create, even flooding that will not be something we want to see. So that project is there. But they also support drainage cleaning system. They've been doing some cleaning, the Sonoway and other drainage system to be able to support that. So we signed that for the consultant to go ahead and do the design and construction of these drains, turning it into concrete drain. So like I said, you see the Sonoway. So some drain that are F drain, and one of the example I gave is the Fish Market, right? You see that big drain there is earth, which just dug in the earth, and ship it like a drain. Of course, it's not sufficient because the water will sit because of sand and grass and all that. But if you turn it into a concrete drain, of course, it allows the water to flow.
So there will be maintenance?
So project, of course, maintenance, because they're even doing cleaning out the Sonoway and other drainage system. So that project is funded by the World Bank. It's resident and public work do, but we also work with PCC and MCC on waste management that they do.
One of the ambitious pronouncements that the Boakas administration made is the issue of the overpass. I think we heard that during the last 6 years, but now you sound like you're already ready for that. The last time we had a conversation with you at the LBC, you kind of came up with some positive, assertion regarding that project. You care to tell us about how the discussions are now, where we are with that?
Yeah, we're ready for the project. We've been doing some, preparation of the site. Okay, there are two sites we have: the Ministerial Complex and the SKD Boulevard. So there will be expansion of the road, okay, in terms of the service lane, so that some of the installed utility lines that is for different companies. We had LEC, Celcom, Orange, Lone Star, C Square, Liptelco, and Water and Sewer. All the installation, we had to find a way to replace them, to remove them and reorder them. So to do that, we had to sit down with them. There were discussions with them. We also had to find some funding. So the government found some funding for them to relocate their lines, because some of where they placed their lines was issued by the government to say, you can go ahead and place it there. So we want to remove them now. We have to. So we took some responsibility to start funding that. That is actually done with that. Working with the PCC also, and on the billboards, you see the large billboards. So we already funded the funding. So as you can see, those corridors now are being clear. Preparation is done already. The company, CRBC, is already in town, China Road Bridge Corporation, the Road Bridge Corporation. In fact, they've already started slowly bringing in some of their equipment and what they need to build the overpass. We already secured for them a campsite. If you go to the right to play near the SKD, the right to play football field,
right,
we've done some demolition there, and that's where they will be building their campsite. In fact, they started mobilizing to build the campsite. So very soon we will get to the point where we agree on.
How soon is that?
What we
soon?
call where we agreed that
we see them putting things in the ground.
It's gonna start. Well, let me say this, because of we start with the company, because of the rains, they may not be able to do major works now. They will prepare the site, do some clearance properly, but they won't do major concrete work now because the rain will be in.
Give us a picture of how the
towards-
overpass is expected to be like. Is it like you're going to have bridges connecting from different areas?
It's a flyover.
Okay.
It's going to be a flyover. So they want that it's around the Ministerial Complex will pick up from somewhere around the old Unity Party headquarters. It's
Right.
going to elevate and fly over the entire Ministerial Complex and get down somewhere before you get to the police zone 3. Okay? So that means if you're not going to the Ministerial Complex, you don't have to be on the ground. You can just elevate and use the overpass, which will decongest the traffic situation there. There will also be 2 service lanes on the side, which will still be used by those who want to go to the Ministerial Complex or leave on the Ministerial Complex and continue to town. But if you're driving, you have nothing to do with Ministerial Complex. You just fly over. So it's going to be that over.
So, Minister, is this squarely your initiative? You started it, or you made it in a discussion stage? No, it's good that we get back to this kind of thing.
Again, we come back to
yeah,
this.
No, it's
but
important.
let me just say this:
right.
we designed it.
You designed
the Ministry
it.
of Public Works.
Right.
We asked the European Union for funding to design our intersection. In fact, that included Vamuma, Kiale Junction, Nigerian House, the Ministerial Complex, SKD Boulevard, EAW Junction. In fact, the EU did that for us. They did the designs for us preliminarily. And it was based on that concept that we engaged the Chinese when we were at the Ministry of Public Works. And the Chinese agreed to fund the project. So we...
That is prior to the coming of
yes,
the Weah's administration?
Yes, yes. Okay, so when the Weah administration came, they met that project, agreed to be funded by the Chinese. But in terms of concluding, they signed the agreement, they signed it.
Okay, let's move
But
on.
they did not execute it.
Okay, you were
designing
executing.
it.
Right.
Government is
And they
continuity.
didn't-
You
yeah,
move on. They sign it.
government,
Yeah.
government
Now,
that continuity.
no, but it has
No,
always
but
been.
parents-
Yeah, but I want to talk about it now.
At the Ministry of Public Works, Mr. Minister, do you ensure these different construction companies provide clear role specifications? I'm asking because sometimes in some of these communities, community people put on the pretense and make us to believe that sometimes they are not aware of the project, the plan, the timeline. When the project will finish, some of the project go there, they waste the cross route, the dust all in the community. Nobody. Do they provide real-time project specifications, the timeline, and all these things?
Of course, we develop the project and tell the contractor what they should do, and based on our specifications, how the contractors work. But however, we have our community services that participate in the whole project execution. They go into the community and then sit with the community and speak to them about the project and how impactful the project will be. I have an assistant minister, Albert Tuklon, who is very good. I think he'll be doing a very good job dealing with some of the issues in the community, even places where we're building bridges where people say, oh, no, we know about this, the Gramley wing, yeah. So normally our team go in there first and introduce the project to the people to make sure that they also help to safeguard the project. In terms of protecting the project, in terms of protecting materials. I was shocked at what happened in Kakata with the situation of, somebody stealing the crush rack and all that, because our people go in there and talk to them, but still you got
because even the superintendent of Monserrato called here and he said public work can't inform them, they're not working with them. Not just public work, other government institutions, they go in these different communities, the local government not even aware or anything. He called here.
Yeah, but that man of my friend. So let me delete that one. I'm not saying that one. But I got my work to do.
Is he lying?
And I have.
Is he misrepresenting the fact?
No. I didn't say that either. I said the man of my friend. So I will not talk about he say, he's not informed. The point I'm making to you is that the Ministry of Public has a statutory responsibility. And before we do that, we have an assistant minister for community services. It's a tax. Statutorily, he's responsible for that. Our team go into the community and engage with the people to execute. Now, if the
that is after you've already done the project.
Is my very good brother say he ain't got the information, I will gain the information. Okay, so that one not the issue. But the point is, we get involved. We get involved.
We try to open the line sooner for men.
We get involved with the community. But I want to talk about something before we go to the line quickly.
Yeah.
Again, I want to assure the public here that we got into the point now where all the funding for paving our roads up to Fishtown is been secured. There's one more loan that we need to ratify.
From where to Fishtown?
The OFIC loan, no, from Zweju.
Okay.
From Zweju to Fishtown. Now, from Tapeta to Zweju, we're in the procurement process now. We already got from Tapeta to Toasttown. Seco is the company that will be doing that road. They will start very soon. From Toasttown to Zweju, which is the 100, it should be 85 kilometer, 85 kilometer. We're in the procurement process now to get a company to do it. So the fund is secure already going there. Now from Zweju straight to Fishtown, it's 100 and should be 110 kilometer. There's two lots, 61.5 and 48.5. We are working on that now. And very soon we'll be ready to go ahead and do that with the procurement process. So I want to safely say to the people of Liberia that by 2029, I keep emphasizing it, by 2030. Yes,
we did this, we did that.
Look, let me, people just came right in the middle. They were in the middle of that. They came right in the middle for a short time. And you know, 12 years, we're still 12 years, we're not doing anything. So
Okay.
to be trying to claim something in
Matthias, anything
in
other than
Yeah,
that?
right.
don't come here on the why I won't be a little political. If
Oh,
you be-
oh,
if
oh,
you want to be political,
Yes,
going
a
to
little
political
bit.
team,
Yeah,
and
let's
you
go.
say, oh,
Yeah,
now it's time for
no,
it.
let's
Oh, you
move.
ready not to
The
go
point
political?
is, my point I'm making is,
Right.
you want to think that 12 years of the Unity Party-led government, we're just sitting not doing nothing. And you come in 6 years and you're able to do all these things. No, that's what I'm emphasizing. That the Coastal Highway was a project that was designed by us, with support from the European Union. We did the pre-feasibility studies. And the European Union, now we're having conversation about their commitment to that. Possibly they'll be one of the funder to that project. I just want you to know that. Okay? So I'm not just saying it because I want to talk about it, but I want to emphasize.
So most of the engagement got stalled when they took over for the period of 6 years, and they didn't do much engagements to make these projects
Yeah,
come
from
to
that
life.
side, yes, they didn't do much. But I would say from the back side, they made some effort.
So one,
And I'm not gonna take that
one
away
point I
from-
just want you to
that from
clarify
them.
before Clarence goes to the line is the issue of the lifespan of the project. You say you designed the projects, so therefore you know how long a contractor should stay at this point, you know, to this area. What is the lifespan of the Freeport Simple Bridge, you know, road project?
So look,
how long?
Freeport Simple Bridge project. If we are able to pay the contractor the funding, I'm very positive that that project can get end by next year.
So
Before
so
next year.
in other words,
Yes, because we can have some challenges as a
It's
government.
dependent on your payment.
Yes, yes.
So meaning you cannot tell Clarence that this road project from Freeport to
No,
Simple Bridge, you should complete it in
no,
1 year
when
time.
when we sign a project,
Right.
there's always a timeline. We can sign a project without putting time, sometimes for 2 years. But I'm just saying to you, some of the other things that will happen would be that sometimes government falls short of funding. So, for example, if there's a shortfall in the budget, it affects every project or every other component of the budget, every other sector. So that cut has to come to us too. So sometimes delay, and that's why I said we did that deep dive with the Minister of Finance, so that we create efficiency in the system, so that things move faster. Like a contractor should get his pay when he works. I don't feel good that the contractors work and to get the pay they gotta be all over the place.
Well,
and can't
Minister,
get that.
let's
then
hold
you
you
won't
there.
get the results.
Public Works
I
Minister
believe that has to happen.
Roland Lafayette Giddings is our guest this morning on the OK Morning Rush Relay on Sky, Prime, and Freedom FM. My colleague Matthias Labani is here. I'll just ask you two questions. You address them quickly, then we'll open the line. Number one, do I have to wait, or do I have to come to the Ministry of Public Works to complain somebody in my community constructing in the alleyways, affecting a lot of people? Or do you have a team that move from community to community, and when these things are noticed, the Public Works Ministry gets involved, talk to the person to either remove it, or you move there to remove it? What's the process?
So let me say this, and again, we're talking about the issue of logistics.
Okay.
And that is a problem. I won't come here and say that we have all it take. We have some logistical issue, because to set up teams to be out in the communities, you need vehicles, you need logistic requirement. But we are trying. We got a alley opening program at the Ministry of Public Works. The president is very passionate about that, and we've been doing that. Opening up alleys. In fact, people confidence level has increased so badly that I receive tons of letters almost every day. Say, please come to our community. Please come to our community. The confidence level has increased in the community. They believe that it's the Ministry of Public Works that's working for them, and so we'll be intervening. But of course, yes, it's been systematic, because we have a program at the zoning. The Assistant Minister for Planning, Ryan Billity, and his team, and the zoning director, Edmund Law, who've been working together, they will catalog what we have, and they will go through a process. We go in the community, we go do survey, ask them for the deed, they come. There's a quasi-judicial process. Our legal people get involved to make sure when we say we're breaking this building down, nobody take us to court. That means we're breaking it down, and we're being advised by our legal people to do so. So all the demolition that take place, I sign off on it with the advice from our legal people to do so. I hope we can get the logistics to move faster. But let me say this. Now we're going to be opening in there, maybe a few weeks from now, 4 more entries into the Oro from the Tottenham Boulevard. You can only enter Oro now from Nigerian House, Cali Junction, which is VP Road, and Fish Market. Those are the entries with vehicle into Oro. But there are we have about 4 or 5 more, if I'm mistaken.
Okay.
That we're going to be opening.
Different
We've already
entries.
gone through the entire process. There are people with properties on those. They know some of them doing self-demolition. Some of them have come. In fact, when I call the name back, I got one government official who got in my house on one of the places. I told you, you got to move from there, you got breaking it down. So there's no exception for
Okay.
anybody on the. So let me say this, that we take it very seriously, Clarence. You see us in a different community. If you build your house on the alley, my advice to you would be move it now by yourself. Because if you move it by yourself, you can save some of your materials. You could save the zinc, you could save your window, you could save your steel door. But if you let the machine comes to be able to do the demolition, you will save anything.
You won't save anything.
But we have it in
All
place.
right. Let me ask the final question, then we'll go to the land. The other question, everybody will ask it. Let me just ask it. Minister,
Yes, sir.
the yellow machine be no woman leave it now?
No.
Or it
my-
will stay calm?
my-
All that history woman leave
The
it?
yellow machine will come. Let me
When
just
it coming?
let me just simplify it. The yellow machine will come. The president has asked, of course, the vice president, the head of the committee. I'm on that committee that have worked to get us to where we are. The yellow machine will be brought into the country. We have not stopped that project. It's going to happen. The maintenance zones will be established across the country. Look, I got two set of equipment now. One is in the southeast. In Maryland County, certain roads were not done for almost 20-something years. I had a set of equipment that went there. They did work in Maryland, Harper, in Plebo. Right now, there's a set in Grand Judah. No, in Grand Crew, working with the lawmakers collaboratively. They are doing that. I had a set in Grand Judah that did some work in Grand Judah. Just opening up alleys and making it reliable. Look, we need those equipment, and we have facilities in most of the counties that we're going to set it up at. So the issue of the yellow machine is definitely going to happen.
Okay.
We
I
have
thought we
not
should
dropped the
just
ball
forget
on
about
that.
it now.
No, it's going to happen.
Okay, all right. Matthias Labandi is here, my colleague from Sky FM. We're together having this discussion with Minister Roland Giddings, the Minister of Public Works. And you know, obviously, we might not be able to remember everything. So we open the lines this soon. At least we can take 15, 20 solid minutes just for cause. The minister will get a pen and a paper, and he will be jotting down points and respond to some of your concerns. 07777000995, 555-026995, and 0886-026995. Let's hear you. Good morning.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning, Minister and the team here. So, thank you, Minister. He said we're feeding the work of the public works. Yesterday, I was in Right Hill community. I didn't have to pack my car to walk to my sister's house. I drove and entered the yard. So, thank you. But I have a few questions. I hope Clarence can give me 1 minute. I will summarize.
I'll give you at least 1 minute, no problem.
Yeah, so if you're doing these roles in the community, is there a possibility for public works, especially when it's not raining, to bring the truck to put some water to reduce the dust for safety purposes? Then two, when I heard the minister, you asked about the road specification while growing up. I remember building the Cape Mount Road. There was a specification on the big poster. How many layers of portal they will put there, how many road going to take the name of the engineer. If the engineer do anything wrong, call the people where this is the number.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
madam.
she's asking a very good.
Yeah.
I got what you.
That was actually the intent of that question, and I think you got it. Let's go here. Hello.
Good morning, Karen Johnson. Good morning to your colleague here with the minister.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. My name is Josiah Small from the corner Peace Island, comment called 540.
Yeah.
Let me say thanks to the minister. My concern I got to do with Bon County because I saw or read from the social media from Senator Prince Kevin Way that $30 million has been earmarked when it comes to somebody to Bolosa to Phoebe Road about rehabilitation. It ain't just about rehabilitation, it will be paved, it will be rehabilitated on paved. Because I have some 800,000 that the project will start for total time to Sanoye. For Sanoye to Bolosa, for Bolosa to Phoebe.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Let's hear you. Hello.
Morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
Clarence, thank you. This is Gary from the Bourgeois Island.
Yeah.
Clarence, I'm a commend the minister. You are doing extremely well. I mean, across the country, Clarence, everyone go to the minister of finance.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
When I answer my call, I would answer other calls.
Oh, but man, you on the line, you know how much person waiting? You got me over there. What question? You come in early, man. Promotional question. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
But I'm a time.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So I am Honorable Samuel S. Dean Sr. and I'm the Executive Director of the National Commission on Disabilities, the Chief Inclusivity Officer of the Republic of Liberia. I want to highly commend my colleague in the studio for such a commendable job over the years, and I'm confident that by the exit of this government, Liberia will be more inclusive and pliable. But what I didn't hear him talk about, and I would like to also encourage that, is the fact that Liberia needs an accessibility standard. And since Public Works is tasked with providing permits, I would like to encourage him that they should work with the National Commission on Disabilities so that we can issue an accessibility standard so that Liberia can be built by world-class standard, so that there could be reasonable accommodation for everybody. Because as we know, 99.9% of public buildings, including the Ministry of Public Works, is inaccessible. The last time I went to see him, I had to be literally carried up the stairs. Now, this is not his fault. It's how Liberia's system has been designed. But we now, as a government of inclusive development, have to look at this deliberately and intentionally and make sure that before a permit is issued to any...
Yeah, this is Patrick Bishop from Giddings.
Yeah, Pap.
Okay, I want to ask the minister, first of all, I want to commend him for a job well done. You know that this government will do excellent. But I want to ask him about the Giddings factory rule. For the past months, we haven't seen a single soul or even a wheelbarrow. And now we got cars, but our car not coming in because of the delay that we're facing, and they get a panel in. So I don't know what the government has planned for it for this year or next year. So we can know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chief. Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to the minister.
Yeah.
Voice of
we're not getting you, but I will not cut you off. Go ahead, let's see what I guess better.
Yeah, so this is William S. Hunt.
Okay, William.
Calling from Card, New Jersey, North. I listened to the minister killing. You know, it's not a spirit thing for the rescue regime. We are very much focused when it comes to road rehabilitation, road construction, road connectivity. This is key on the arrest agenda. But my issue this morning, the minister spoke about the road fund. Now, he criticized the tax regime that misused the road fund to carry on a lot of projects that were not necessary. Why is it that Josita Wanto is still maintaining her position as a CEO at the road fund?
Thank you, Chief. Let's go here. Hello.
Amatana.
Good morning, Chief.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so I'm Musa Kone. And I first want to say honestly, thank you to the minister. I think the ministry is doing well. And I'm saying this because I am one person who travel a lot. And I know I've seen some very good work being done. Like, for example, the Bopolu Road, I was just there yesterday. I'm going back there this morning. So, yeah, you look around, you see some very good work being done in Central Monrovia. But, Clarence, the minister shot himself in his leg. And I think that is, again, because everybody wants to prove that they are doing something that nobody has done. When he said the ministry negotiated with contractors to give them tithes for the ministry but not individually, there is no difference. Whether individually, that's corruption. It should not have been. You presiding over the contract, you would decide who get it or who don't have it. To solicit gifts for the ministry when the ministry is supposed to be only sponsored by the government is corruption. One. Two, he also talked about the Rower Sport rule. And every other project, the minister tried to take credit. Yes, government is continuity, but he should not make it to appear like there was nothing done. He has to be very clear to admit, which I think he was passive in his statement. Some he was very emphatic to say, yeah, the contract was signed. All of the roles that they are doing today Whether it started from Madam Telly, George Weah did not declare it. George Weah government when they seemed part to make sure that those roads were also maintained. Some of the contracts that were not arranged properly was arranged. So when you can't say, oh, the other contract, the design was not good. The other one year, the contractor was there. It's the same contractor. You have not changed any contractor.
Thank
lastly,
you.
Let me
Musa, we gotta let you go now.
Just lastly, please, lastly. There have always been a strong priority on roads connectivity as far back as Chatilo did. Chatilo did the Lookington Road, he did the Nukutan Road, Madam Terry King, George Weah King. So, road in Liberia, every government in Liberia have done something when it comes to road. Do not just come and say you are the only person that doing things that other people have not done. Everybody did something when it comes to road.
Thank you, Chief.
Well, I didn't say that either.
We gotta let you go. The minister is jotting down. He will respond. This guy been here so long. Hello.
Clarence.
Good morning.
Good morning, Clarence.
Yeah, good morning. You are live.
My name is Aaron Fenrose. Good morning, Minister Giddings.
Morning.
Thank you for the work done so far. Some of us, we are not surprised because we know your work history. And I've been knowing Minister Giddings for a very long time. As someone who have been in the classroom, who have not even taken breath. So I know that for the fact. But there are two concerns I have. The first one is an immediate concern. If you're driving across Simple Bridge between Getro 1 and the overhead bridge, that road is cutting right to the swamp. If we don't have an intervention, some of us might not come to work when the rainy season hit. It's terrible. The road is on the money. To that swamp, the road is cutting.
Second point. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
The second one, Clarence.
Yeah, I said second point is, yeah.
Okay, the second point is that when we started hearing about road, we have heard about $1 million for 1 mile of road. In my mind, I think that is a standard, an international standard. When we're redeveloping our road map, can we reassess that standard? Because if we say 1 million in my mind, the engineer is looking at importing a lot of material that we have in Liberia, for example, the rocks, the sand, we have the red dirt, we have the labor. Can we reassess that for future plan that when somebody come and say $1 million per road, can say, look, as an engineer, even though this is your international standard.
Thank you, Chief. You've gotten your points across. I want to give as many callers as possible the opportunity to call. Hello?
Hello, Clara?
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. So I just want to thank and appreciate the Public Works Minister, Honorable Roland Giddings, and Robert Johnson, the Civil Servant President.
Yeah.
My concern is the road leading to Hotel Africa. We have two valley bridges on our road, and they are in very deplorable condition.
Okay.
So, what is the plan by the ministry to have that road resuscitated and the bridge replaced?
Okay, he's listening. I think we can get like maybe 4 or 5 more. Hello?
Hello, good morning, Clarence. How are you? This is Patrick Honor.
Patrick, good morning. Let's hear you.
Great. So, Minister, good morning to you.
Good morning, Patrick.
A perfect detour or bypass from the SKD Sports Complex right to play through to GSA Road and coming out, and then you can go to Subatown. That bypass is very important. I'd just like to know from you whether that is on the radar of the Ministry of Public Works, and also the road to Rock Hill coming down to Carver Mission, a carbon mission down there. Just want to know whether you have any plans for that.
Okay, thank you. Let's go here. Hello?
Yeah, hello, Clarence?
Yeah?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for picking my call. Anyway, I'm Beto. I'm calling you from
What's your full name?
I'm Amos Beto, calling from Johnsonville.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to appreciate the minister in studio. Honorable Minister, I want to appreciate you for your work.
Thank
Something
you.
I want to bring to your attention, the road are leading from the Ghana Bay towards the Johnsonville side, most especially through the Chicken Soup Factory route. Those guys are working on the road there. It's like they are very slow in their work. Even the detour they gave us from FPRC towards the Johnsonville Road, the moment you get at the Chicken Soup Factory turning point there to get towards Bakatan side, it's very much deplorable. I want you to please talk to those contractors so that they can be able to make the road at least a little bit pliable for us.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to say good morning to our strong working minister. Any contract, let him put New Joy go in contract, in late.
Okay. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Jackson.
Good morning.
I'm Mohammed Imkanet, and I'm from the Good Island.
Yeah, Mohammed.
Mr. Giddings, good morning to you.
He listening.
Mr. Jackson, I listen to the minister, making sure that people who are building on the alley, they start passing their belongings now. Those people, I think the team that on the field, that means the team that exercise. Okay? We notice that the Indwala area. Area that this garden was to even break down. They were holding profit from people. I think sometimes the minister himself going to do his own research and drafting behind the garden because they will come on the field and then they will receive profit.
How you know? Yeah.
I think I live here.
That what I say, how you know you? Is there any evidence of an instance where they're supposed to break certain house and they took money that you know?
100% correct. 100% correct.
Give us the scenario.
On I just tell you, we're on the way here in the point Abu. Abu, okay? And then the area that is going to break down, the garden will be started on the fellow.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. My name is the Group of Anna Indo Community.
All right, Sekou.
We want to Play Street. There is a road leading to go the barracks. And on Play Street, there is a road, a port on the south. Since during the election of 2023, we wrote the public works ministry, the then minister.
You said Clay Street, right?
Clay Street. And then it is in a form of death trap. So
which part of Clay Street?
A road leading like airline.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, sir. All right. Good morning. We can take just two more because we need to gain sufficient time. Hello.
Okay. Good morning, Black Parents and good morning, all panelists.
Yeah.
Including the Minister of Public Works. My name is Alfred Konowa. I call for Carswell.
Yeah, Konowa.
Mr. Minister, please. You talk about the alleys. You know, especially Carwell, specific Carwell. You know, Carwell is a city built by itself. About all the alleys have been built upon. That's the way to pass. And recently, I think something happened like the fire outbreak somewhere where the ambulance, the fire brigade cars were unable to reach the fire place because of building the alley. So,
so people building all the alleys in Carwell. All right, let's leave it. Let's go back to Minister Lafayette Giddings. Minister, you're listening to some of these concerns.
Thank you, Clarence. Let me just extend my appreciation to the callers, those who recognize the work that we are doing, those who criticize the work. I'm very happy that even Ohede Musa, who is a staunch sedition, has recognized that we are making some progress, and I appreciate that. But let me start from the first lady that spoke about what's done in the community, that we should watch out for, ensuring that the dust is taken care of in terms of watering the soil. I hope that's something that we can do. We got some limitation in terms of water trucks that will be everywhere because we are in different communities working. So it will be a little difficult because we don't have 3, 4, 5 water trucks. So there will be some challenges. We just want you to bear. We'll soon leave those communities where we are working, but we are looking to at least make the road pliable so the rain comes, at least you have the roads in the community to look good for the one that we are intervening in. In terms of the projects, yes, some of the projects you see the billboards are there. The ones that are contracted with all the specification, the kilometer that's done, the contractor that's doing it, where the funding comes from, it is there. On some of the projects, yes, some that we are doing, even the community project that we initiated is there, and some of the projects in the community, it is required that the contractor put on a billboard and have all the specifications. So yes. Somebody asked about the Sandia corridor, that road up to Bodota. Yes, it will be rehabilitated, not paved for now. We don't have the funding to do pavement for now, but there will be intervention done on our road. One of the things that happened, we have transitioned from the manual procurement process to a electronic procurement process. We're having some challenges as a government in terms of working with the new system. Of course, it has its own shortcoming. We've been discussing with the PPCC and the Ministry of Finance to be able to fast track the procurement process. So once it's completed, of course, that road will be done. Sam Dane spoke about accessibility standards. Yes, Sam, I know you came to see me. We'll have that conversation. I will have my people work with you so we can talk about that. We need to also be concerned about the disabled in our society. Of course, building we have not considered in our designs long time ago, those who are disabled, so they can have accessibility to to our public buildings, especially for public buildings. That's something that has been factored in the new zoning law. I look at some of the codes and the building standard of all of that. So we have that conversation, Sam. But thanks for the support. Chicken Soup Factory, we'll get to the contractor. I know they are doing other roads, and if they are not going to do the pavement as required now, because I know we have some limited in terms of the funding, but they should be able to close up the covers that have been laid and create the accessibility. So we have the project engineers or the assistant minister responsible for construction to make sure he get to the contractor and have it accessible. At least the road is pliable now. If the rain comes and we're not able to start doing the rigid pavement that's required, which is put in concrete, we'll do that during the next dry season. But at least the covered lane should be completed, caged, and closed up properly so people can have access to the community. Somebody asked about why meeting Josita went to at the road fund, where it's one thing to accuse somebody of being corrupt. It's another thing of finding the evidence required. Josita went to the LCC. She was called to the LCC based on the accusation. She submitted documents to them. They review it. If there's anything comparable that we see her as being corrupt, then they should be able to justify that. But as chair for the board and of course at the Ministry of Public Works, we cannot just bring people reputation to public ridicule. I understand how the society feel about corruption. I understand what they think about that, but we can't do so. So there was the conversation. Musa acknowledged the work we did. Yes, and he spoke about the issue of the pickup corruption. Even the code of conduct is clear in there. You don't get gift for personal use. It's not for personal use. The government can get gift. More donation can be given to the government. Right now, we are receiving cards from user project as donation. The project that shut down, they're giving us some cards, computer and order. That corruption there, so we take it in that corruption, and it's going to be used for government function. One make it corruption. So I'm not even thinking about that as we are. Like I said, the reason why we're performing like the way we're performing, our contractors are happy with us because we're giving them the space to work. We are not pushing them, for no reason. They are happy with us. Call the contractors, and they will tell you how happy they are with the Ministry of Public Works now, and they have the space to work, and we're challenging them and putting them on the spot, and that is why you see the performance you see. There was another question about somebody asked. I think Van spoke about. We spoke about that. You sent me that the road undermining some of that the overpass after Virginia. We make sure our maintenance people check it out so that there can be a problem. I forgot to also speak about the Freeport the Simple Bridge to Bowater side. We are currently holding discussion with a private company. I won't diverge all the details to pave. Of course, dual lane, bigger from Simple Bridge to Bowater side, to Clay Junction to Tottenham Burr to Bowater side, also from Tottenham Burr to Bapolu, and then from Burville to Bopolu. So these conversations are being held. Burville to Bopolu has been factored into that. For pavement, it's a PPP that we're looking to do, and it will be something like a BOT, a portion that is BOT, which is a hybrid. So we have not forgotten about that corridor for Simple Bridge up there. The roundabout will be redesigned. I see those who have built in that roundabout, just about the Virginia to go to Hotel Africa, that whole roundabout, I see people now build all kinds of things in there. I know some of them listening to me. That whole place will be demolished because that's public land. So if you're there, just get ready. That entire space will be demolished. Nobody should build anything there. Will be demolished. I just said that. I don't want to forget about that. Also, there was a question about Rock Hill. Yes, Patrick, we already intervening on that corridor from SKD to GSA. That would be something that we could look at, maybe hopefully the next budget year for even pavement. We are now introducing rigid pavement as a policy for our community roads. That's what we are doing, and so that would be something to look to do. There was a New Jersey Junction. No, New Jersey. We're going to pave New Jersey Road. We are in the procurement process now. It's going to be rigid pavement into the estate and also towards the school. I think is that Gabriel Cole School? Is that what? Yes, beyond the school, a little beyond the school. So we're going to pave that road, rigid pavement. We are in the procurement process now. So there's someone that called and asked about New Jersey. Of course, I drove on that road. There's no road there. It bent like that. And I'm surprised when I went there. I haven't gone there for many years. I went there. I couldn't believe that there's no road to go to New Jersey. I would say it's terrible. I didn't know that was there. And I saw that. So we got in the procurement process now. We'll start paving that road, rigid pavement. Somebody talk about the demolition exercise. There's bribery taking place. I don't know how, but I know any property that have been identified as in the alley, there's no compromise. If it's supposed to be cut into half or certain percentage of the property will be demolished, we demolish it. Anybody who go take bribe, I don't know how, because you take a bribe or eat your money for nothing, because we'll still demolish it. So if anybody if you're doing that, it will still be demolished. But I don't think so. Our people understand that. Even at public where you do, we just fire somebody. We don't joke with that thing about trying to steal something away or get involved in that kind of thing. I'm not very afraid to do that. When I was at public as deputy minister, we fired almost close to 20 persons for theft and all kinds of things, which were against the civil service standing order. So if I'm doing that, that means people understand that you come and work, keep your job, don't get involved in anything that will cause you to lose your job. Somebody asked quickly on the project or on the alley opening. Yes, we're doing that on the project. Which project? Who did what? I sat here and even Musa raised that issue. I sat here and I said, what CDC did. We talked about the contract. I talked about the project in Barclayville that started. That should come towards Greenfield. They initiated it. They secured the funding. We're going to execute that. So let's just do our work. And I think that's that much more important. If they had done properly, a proper 6 year, I don't think the people who have told them, don't stay in power. Unity Party was there for 6 years. They gave us another 6 years. So we won election twice. They got the 6 year. They mismanaged the 6 year. Now we took it back from them and we got this 6 year. We had to get the contractor to start with that disbursement that he already had. They disbursed the money, but he could not get started. And we done that. And to be frank, that contractor, MDMC, is working very well. And I'm happy that it's a Liberian company. Because I like to see a Liberian company with the potential to be like even a foreign company. We can only have foreign company paving our roads. That's why I talk to our Liberian companies. And I have a policy now at the Ministry of Public Works that no direct road will be given to a foreign company. You won't see no Chinese company building direct road. All the direct road
What do you call direct road?
That means doing the rehabilitation of our direct roads. All will be done by Liberian companies. The best Liberian companies. And you perform, you get the contract. You don't perform, you don't get it. Because the big companies, they do all the big roads. Mm-hmm. They get all the World Bank projects. So then they can't be doing that. The only reason why we use some of them doing the 100 days ago had no time and they were already mobilized in those corridors. But we made it a policy. Now, in the procurement process for rehabilitation and maintenance of gravel road, no foreign company will participate in that. It's always going to be limited to Liberian company because we have to create an industry that Liberian companies will be a part of that. Besides that, what we've done, we also initiated a process using the law of the ALCC that will allow a percentage of work done by big projects, paid for by the World Bank anyway, by Liberian companies. So the 85 kilometer we're doing now from Tapeta, for Toastown to Zerju, some part of the work must be given to Liberian company. It will be enshrined in the bid documents, and Liberian companies will have some part of the work.
I think
20% of the work will be given to Liberian companies.
You left one of the concerns out from the callers, Mr. Afra Kunowa from Cardwell. I live Cardwell.
Okay.
I think his question is coming from the backdrop of the ministry being more proactive, because at this point, if the people build on alleys, you have to come back and demolish. Why not just go in with your zoning department and say you open all the alleys?
I spoke earlier about the capacity in terms of logistics. It's also an issue. And while talking, I said, we talked about they already did that. Contractors were asked to donate to the ministry. We did it. People were bidding on me for that. We don't have the logistics like that. The government is overstretched. Other sector ministries have to operate. So because of that, we are tired a little bit. Over time, we can address that. So we have teams everywhere to be able to do that. But we've come to Caldwell. The thing is, if people knowing, let me just say this before we go. Look, if people take government serious or government act, the properties we are demolishing now that are in the alley, there were governments here that didn't do it, including my government before then. Okay, but we're focusing on setting the stage to get here. Now we are there. We have to do that. It doesn't mean because, people burying the alley so they should stay there. Now, I'm moving people from the alley. It's a change of mindset. If anybody want to build a property now and somebody say, my man, that place there, that alley, He will not build it because you know why? He knows now Popular Works is demolishing properties that are in the alley. And that's what we're doing. So slowly, those people who are in the alley will demolish by themselves before we get there. I can tell you that will happen. On the Oro now, people are already doing self-demolition because we'll soon be there to open up the alleys. We're not joking with them. There's no compromise. I will say this. I broke a fence down of one government official recently. They didn't know I could do that. They said, oh, we'll call the president, we'll call the Minister of State. I said, go tell the president and Minister of State. The president would never tell me not to do my work. The president has said to me, do it, but do it rightly. And what I'm doing is right. You put your fence in the alley, I will break it. Government official, Supreme Court justice, associate justice, lawmaker, your fence in the alley, any government official, I will break it down. I can tell you that. I said that to the lawmakers many times. When people come from the community, oh, you can't touch your property. I said, no way. We will break it down. If they're in the alley, we'll tear it down.
It's just fair.
And we have to do it.
Right.
So there's no compromise on that. Whatever property in the alley, I see
a lot of people sending me text messages about Paul River to Clay to Tottenham.
Yeah, but I spoke about private Fort. Yes, that's we currently now in a negotiation, like I said, with a private company that's looking to pay from Simple Bridge to Clay Junction to Tottenham Burr to Bowater Side.
Okay, Minister Lafayette Giddings.
Clarence, I would just like to close quickly by asking the minister. Minister, you are ambitious.
What you call my time?
No, I tell the man to close up.
Yeah, but it's 10 o'clock almost.
We'll soon be closing.
So how many kilometers of roads are you expected to complete before 2029?
So we expected to do in the AAID, it's 485 kilometers, but I'm saying we'll do about 600.
What would that mean
30
for
kilometers?
The country? What would that mean
because
for Nigeria?
When I sat down and looked at all the interventions that we're making, we surpassed the 485 kilometers. That would mean a lot. If we connect, for example, from Tapeta and Squid to Fishtown, which will happen, Tapeta to Fishtown will be connected. I can tell you that. If we are able to do now from Freeport, from Simple Bridge to Bowater Side, which we're in discussion now with that company to begin to do that. If we're able to do that, that's a lot that we'll be doing. If we are able to complete, to start from Buchanan up to Cester City, which is almost 80-something kilometers, that would be good. If we start from Bagleyville to Clooney, which is about 50 kilometers up to Greenville, to hit the other one, which would be close to 100+ kilometers, that is something that we do. And so if we do that, I mean, also discussion to close the gap between Plebo and Bagleyville, which is 75 kilometers, to find a company to do so. If we do that, that would mean a lot. And if we are able to connect, which we'll do, I didn't talk about LOFA, we will connect. In fact, the design is going to the bank for approval from Vonjema to Foya Minikoma. We're starting from Minikoma side. So President Bouaka, as president, will see LOFA paved. We already secured the funding to do the last 115 kilometers from Salaye to Konya to Basuwen to Vonjema. We'll do that. The Kuwaitis, the Saudis, they've given us the funding. In fact, we just sent the design to them for review. They are discussing the funding, who will do what. They committed to do the 115 kilometers. We're doing the first 50 kilometers, and we'll do a second layer of the 81 kilometers. Because 81 kilometers is only one layer. Put another layer to make a full asphalt road because it's part of the Trans-West African Highway. So we'll do these things, and I can tell you, as you're seeing it happening, by next year, half of next year, this country will be flooded with construction.
Okay, Minister, we got less than 3 minutes to go. Thank you, Matthias.
Right.
Minister, let me ask you this one question. Because everybody is concerned and people just sending text messages. It's good for you to talk to us here before you leave. What is the whole issue about the overhead bridge versus the Kalano building? The people say you're not dodging. Initially, you said you were going to break it down, but right now you're not talking about it anymore.
No, I don't know what initially was said I would break down. It's not in the way. The thing about that building, we broke some buildings that closer to 8 years, but they're smaller buildings, smaller costs. That building is a building that you can touch half. It's not a building that you can cut half. There's a construction now, we're doing demolition, you can cut half, the building can keep half and continue. You touch that building, you gotta pay for the whole thing. We don't have the money to pay for it. It's expensive paying for that whole building.
So the truth is,
but it's not in the way. It's not in the way. No. The overpass will pass.
It's not in the way.
We have the service lane will pass. It's not in the way. It's just that he would not have any like space or yard or so. But the road will pass there. You know, I see some building close to the road, you jump on the road straight in the building.
So the question is, it's not in the way. The answer is, it's not in the way.
It's not in the way.
It is not supposed to be.
So we are not saving it. I'm very sure Carlos said we'll be happy with breaking it because the cost that we got to pay for it will be that.
But it's not in the way. Then why are you concerned about the cost of the building if it is broken?
No, but we get paid. It's very expensive for the government to pay for it. That's the point I'm making. So for us to pay for it and it's not in the way, we can manage to pay our overpass. And now it's not of any hindrance to the road.
Right.
So
okay.
that's it.
We'll take it as it is.
As
We'll
it
take
is.
Yeah, that's
he said
what it is.
He said even though the
But you
plane
see,
is very expensive, but
there's-
it's not
it's
in
not
the
in the
way.
way.
Yeah, there's a piece that if you say let's.
But he
cut a
said when
piece-
the brick part over
you
there,
can't cut
I don't
piece.
say we don't get a chance to do anything over there.
Yeah.
But maybe the brick coming part right in
No,
front
no,
of that place over there.
then he got a few meters to take care of.
Okay, but you're not in the way.
It's not in
Minister
the way.
Lafayette Giddings, thank you so much.
Thank
My
you.
colleague Matthias was a sessional here this morning. Thanks to our friends at Freedom FM, Prime FM, and Sky FM for relaying this edition of the OK Morning Rush. Thanks to all of our listeners. If you call, you didn't get through, it was not deliberate, just that all the lines were busy. So we're just answering the calls as they were coming fresh in line and those kinds of things. Thanks to all of you. We're taking our usual weekend break. The man say, the much talk about yellow machine, they're not history. The machines will come. We'll see it coming here. My name is Piso Man. Bye-bye.